Uncensored. Welcome to COASTER-net Uncut.
What's going on, COASTER-net fans? Danny Miller alongside Andrew Varjak here once again from Holiday World and Splash and Safari in Santa Claus, Indiana. We are here at HoliWood Nights 2017 doing a series of videos here because we've got to do a lot of cool stuff this weekend. You know, if you've seen already, we talked about how you got to go behind the scenes on Gobbler Getaway. We did a little recap of that. We also had the actual walkthrough where we had some photos and videos from that. And you mentioned in that video that I didn't get to go on the Gobbler Getaway walkthrough, and there is a reason for that. So you and I, before we came to this event, the week leading up to this event, we had talked about how we were going to try and do the Voyage Lift Hill Walk. And we kind of knew around the price range that had gone for in previous years, and that they had typically done 8 people. There were 4 auction items, and you got to bring 1 guest. This year, it went back to 2 winners with 1 guest each. So that kind of threw things off a little bit, and the price got a little bit too high for us. You went after the Gobbler Getaway. I went after then the Saturday night Voyage Zen Ride, which we'll talk about in a minute. But what ended up happening is one of my friends that I went to RIT with, Chris Brucker, to shout out to him, he actually won one of the Voyage Lift Walk spots, and he actually asked me to go with him. So, having not actually won the auction, I still got an opportunity to go on the Voyage Lift Walk. So that's what I was doing while you were doing the Gobbler Getaway. So we're going to talk about that for a few minutes. We'll also have a little bit of the actual video. I took some video at the top. I took some video prior to going up, and then also on the way down. Took a lot of photos, great photo opportunities. You can see the whole park. You can see the Pilgrim's Plunge Giraffica area really nicely. Really? From the very top, you can actually look down. I have a picture of it. Maybe we'll put it up while this video is going on in the actual walk up video. You can actually look almost straight down on that last 90-degree turn from the top of the lift hill, and it's almost directly below you, and that was a really cool view. You know, but what we learned is that on the Voyage Lift Hill, the left side of the catwalk is your standard straight wood planks, and it's got the wood blocks, like the pegs, but the right side of the lift hill actually has stairs, wooden steps, so it's easier. They actually said Voyage is the easiest ride to do a lift evac on for that reason, because number one, it connects right back to the station very easily, and and you have the steps, whereas on Legend and Raven, they have the old school style of construction where it's just the little wooden pegs that go up, so they're not really stairs, they're just kind of slots, if you will. And
there's a station, there's either a turnaround or a station house before you actually get to the station itself.
So we learned that. Now, another thing we did learn is this coming off season for 2018, Raven and Legend will actually have one side of their lift hills retrofitted with actual steps.
Really?
To make that evac process a little bit easier, and to make the because every morning someone has to walk to the top of the lift. So it will actually make that process easier. And I kind of asked the guy, I said, so Raven and Legend Lift Hill Walks next year's experiences? He said that would become much easier to do. So basically what we had to do, we had to show up at the park early, about 8:15 or so, which is much earlier than you had to be here for the Gobbler Getaway. You didn't have to be here until about 9:30. We walked to Voyage, we walked all the way up, we had to put on the essentially garden gloves with the rubber padding on the palms, and a lot of people ask, why do you have to wear the gloves? Why do you have to wear the gloves? Well, it's not to keep you, I thought maybe it had to do with grease or something. It's actually to protect your hands from getting splinters, because you're using the wooden handrail all the way up, and if you slide your hand along a 10-year-old wooden beam, you're going to get splinters pretty easily. So they give you the garden gloves to protect your hands from getting splinters on the way up. So that was interesting. Made it a little bit more difficult to take the photographs from the top, but they were, you know, iPhone touch sensitive, so you could still take pictures and videos.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
So the gloves were done in such a way that you could actually still use them to take photos. So that was really nice. We learned a lot of fun facts. We actually learned the story behind the Timberliners. We discussed the Timberliners, and they did over the course of 3 to 4 years. They did do various tests and sporadic testing with the Timberliners. It turns out, and if you watch videos of Hades 360, I think compared to the old Hades, I think this becomes visually evident. The Timberliners, throughout their testing, with the same amount of people, the 12 rows, actually, because they're so much lighter than the PTC trains, you actually get much less speed, and as a result, much less intense airtime and a lower quantity of airtime. And some people might say, well, but it's a smoother ride. Yes, but Holiday World was not comfortable sacrificing the incredible ride experience that Voyage is. And let's face it, you and I are in agreement that it's probably the best wooden roller coaster ever built.
Absolutely.
And,
well, I would even go as far as to say it may be the best roller coaster ever built.
I would agree.
Like, we go back to last night, we had midnight, late night ERT at 11 p.m. We were on one of the final trains out of the station, pitch black ride, and completely out of control on Voyage.
Out of control. And to answer the question, no, the brakes are not slowing the train down. We were told 2 years ago in that house that was a temporary thing till they did some retracking. They did do some retracking this year on both Voyage and Raven. And as far as we could tell, all the rides I had last night on Voyage, no brakes whatsoever.
Yeah, none.
And a lot of people make a big fuss about the brakes. You don't mind them as much as other people. I've always said this. The brakes do not necessarily ruin the ride. I think that's going over a bit overboard. I still think it's a fantastic ride.
Yes.
But at the same time, when the brakes slow you down too much, that end run is not the Voyage experience. The Voyage experience is a marine experience. One of our friends, Kevin Wilson, actually said last year, he said, I imagine that the third half of Voyage is kind of what it felt like to be in Vietnam. That's kind of the comparison he made. So that was the story behind the Timberliners. We also actually learned about the whole seventh car and why the seventh car was taken off. And we learned a lot of interesting stuff, which I'll go through all of it on the actual walkthrough.
Yeah.
These are the highlights here. The seventh car, they actually put on for capacity. They've got a long ride time. They originally had 3 trains. Well, they did some studies compared to Raven and Legend, which have 6 cars, and they actually discovered that the 4 extra people per cycle was actually not improving capacity based on the longer time it took the operators to check the harnesses.
Yeah.
So then they did a study.
And not only that, but you have extra items that you and they do a very good job here of the ops actually take the items from you.
Yes.
But still, that's 4 extra bags you got to take and collect.
And they did a study after they took the 7th car off, and they actually found that they had more throughput with 6 cars as opposed to 7. And I don't think it diminishes the ride experience. No. I've never made it notice. Some people will tell you that. I think people are out of their minds. If you can tell the difference between that, I think you're out of your mind. Yeah. It's still an amazing experience, and the added benefit of that is 1 less car going down the track each cycle. You have a little bit less track getting beat up every cycle, so it does help from a maintenance perspective. That was the added benefit. That wasn't the reason they took it off. It was actually first done to improve capacity, which is a little weird. You would never think that taking a car off would improve capacity, but in their studies, they actually proved it out statistically that they did better throughput with 6 cars as opposed to 7. So that was real interesting. Lots of other stuff. So if you want to watch the Voyage, the actual walkthrough video, you can check that one out. But it was really an incredible experience. We had great weather for it this morning. Got some great pictures. If you're friends with me on Facebook, I posted a lot of pictures this morning. So again, thanks to Chris for inviting me to go along with him there. Chris, great dude. And then we also talked about the Zen Ride.
Yeah, you got the Zen Ride.
That was the actual item that I won in the auction. And, a bunch of my friends from Coaster Radio, they're all here. And a good friend, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you probably know that back in the winter, a good friend of ours, Elaine Jackson, passed away. And she was a very good friend of ours. She loved coming to this event every year, and we always hung out with her. She, our friends over at Coaster Addict, she helped them a lot too. And we had talked amongst the group of us if we were going to do some sort of memorial ride. We wanted to do it last week on Fury at Carowinds while we were all down there. It was a little hard to coordinate because we didn't have any ERT. Yeah. So then the focus shifted to, well, can we get the Saturday night Voyage Zen Ride, since that was her favorite ride. Yeah. And once the lift walk got too steep for our blood, I went after the Saturday night Voyage Zen Ride, and I won it. I told the group, hey, clear your schedules for midnight on Saturday. Yeah. We're going to do a ride for Elaine. That we said we were going to do it. We didn't really talk much about it, so I figured, you know what, let's do it. And for those of you who don't know what the Zen Ride is, it is the last ride of the night on each ride. They do it for each ride. Zen ride is technically by yourself. That's what
Yes,
the definition of
yes.
a Zen ride is. However, the trend recently has been you bring all your friends or people. So I won the Zen ride for the Voyage Zen ride on Saturday night, and I said, you know what, all the Coaster Radio folks, we're going to come over, and Elaine's very good friend Courtney from Coaster Addict is here. She's going to lead the way with me tonight, and we're going to do a ride for Elaine tonight. So that'll be fun as well.
Yeah, that'll be really nice.
Maybe I'll be able to get some on-ride audio from that too. I'll do the on-ride audio in the zipper pocket.
Yes.
And we'll, we've become quite famous for that here the last year or two.
Absolutely.
Doing some on-ride audio, Lightning Rod and Vader. So maybe we'll get to take a trip on the Voyage at midnight with us. So,
absolutely.
It's been a great time here this weekend.
Yeah.
The Holiday World always rolls out the red carpet here. They do a great job. The food is phenomenal. The rides are phenomenal. The staff is super friendly, super clean, as always here. Always a great time.
And like you said, like we said on the previous videos, it's all for Give Kids the World too.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So all
Added
that money
benefit.
goes to a great cause down in Florida to help kids live out a dream who have been going through a really tough time in recent times. So always great to help out Give Kids the World and anything that we can do.
Absolutely.
So as always, thanks for joining us here, and ride on, Ride Warriors.
See you guys.